DragonBall Daima, episode 14, Taboo review. And I gotta say, Neva is the stuff that every power grid ultimately falls under. This man has some seriously impressive feats, and we got a good bit of lore about the demon realm all in this episode. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, Brent here back with you. Let's cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, Dragon Ball Daima, episode 14. And I gotta say, this was an actually satisfying episode. Sure, this covers mostly filler, but it's absolutely necessary that we see how we got from the second Demon Realm world over to the first Demon Realm world. You can't just kind of hop, skip, and a throw, and boom, you're there. Everything's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Hate to keep rhyming, but for whatever reason, it's just all about the timing. So, without further ado, let's get in this episode because not a lot happened, but enough happened that it's absolutely necessary to cover. If that makes sense. So, what we had happen in this episode is Pansy decided to call back to her dad, the third Demon Realm King, and kind of be like, hey, here's what's going on here. Here's our update. Here's how the ship's doing. Let me relay this information to you just to kind of cover what's going on. Ultimately, it's relayed that he managed to steal a ship and he was trying to work on getting his way on over to the first Demon Realm world because basically he thinks this is his inauguration route. There's no other time and place for it. He believes with the help of Vegeta, Goku, and Piccolo that things are basically a shoe-in and he's going to have an easy ride all the way to the top. So he's going to try and go ahead and make his way over there as quickly as he possibly can. Vegeta overhears this and says, a king? Stealing? Really? What kind of behavior is that? And, normally I'm on Vegeta's side, but on this one, I'm going to take exception. Remember your dad, Vegeta? The one who was directly under Frieza, that was conquering planets for Frieza and doing the dirty work of Frieza continuously. Remember that? You lived directly under his thumb, then you did it, and you guys were lying, cheating, and stealing a la Eddie Guerrero for any number of reasons. Um, yeah. Hypocrisy abounds, my friend, and I understand you're a changed man, but old you, yeah, you wouldn't have blinked twice at what was going on here. So let's just be perfectly transparent about that. Then we go ahead, we kind of talk more about how the demon realms work because we have Warp Sama was an afterthought. Warp Sama was kind of created as an in between of what the original travel route was. The original and initial travel route was that they had these shields, aka these kind of like little barriers, these little realms, where you just literally hop through and boom, you go on through to the other side. There's some level of intense pressure in between them. So if your ship is, say, in a bad condition, a la this ship is, because it's been through quite a bit, it's overweight because probably Hibis and all the different stuff we have going on, but we have a lot of stuff weighing down the ship. It was already damaged in other attacks. It's in a bad state where ships of that nature can kind of spontaneously almost combust just either due to the pressure or just due to the fact that it's in not ship flying condition. It should probably be docked and repaired somewhere, but we're in a hurry, so let's go ahead and hurry this on up. The shield was the first initial travel path, but it was sealed off by Neva because, of course, it was. This man, or this Namekian, if you will, is someone who had the foresight to see, hey, people from the third demon realm kept showing up and they were ruffians and they were hooligans and they caused problems for me and my people, the Namekians. They were causing a whole bunch of issues. And then people from the first demon realm would come and kind of visit us as like tourists. They do these flybys, they do these pass throughs, and they were being really arrogant about everything going on here and they were being really rude to my people. Ultimately, with the influx of both, we were just either being persecuted against or treated like second class citizens. So we just kind of grew tired of what was going on here. So I kind of created these shields that I put up over everything so we can stop the travel between realms and I can kind of limit the number of people that are going on through here. And ultimately, for whatever reason, it's not perfectly described if he's the one who created Warp Sama or if someone else created Warp Sama, but eventually Warp Sama came to be. But because Warp Sama was restricted by passwords and codes, and then the Demon Realm King kind of put limitations on what was going on, the one who was ruling above everybody else, that travel was very, very much limited, so the Namekians could kind of live in peace. And obviously, they went about their way. They managed to travel to all the different areas of the galaxy they made it to, as well as the relatives of Aransu, Degesu, Elder Kai, all that, Supreme Kai, all that stuff. Everybody split off as best they could because now they weren't being bombarded by all these people coming in and having all these different looks upon them. So Neva turns out he's had the foresight and the patience to help enact this plan, which is going terribly if you're Goma. Nothing has gone right. Aransu has defected, Goku has arrived, and it looks like you're still pretty much worse for wear in your Gender Marie Special Forces. Because, yeah, I'm going to mention them in passing, but look, they are the Wish version, they are the Temu version, they are the worst possible version of the Ginyu Force that we could possibly have on there. Every single one of them fills the exact same traits that everyone else in the Ginyu Force did. They're still over the top, but this time instead of obsessed with dancing, they're obsessed with snacking, which I understand snacking over dancing because personally, I love to snack. But at the same time, not really a cool look considering like this is a washed and tried and true thing that you've attempted to do in every single one of your series. But again, at this point, it's basically a staple of Akira Toriyama. May you rest in power. But at the same time, it's not really something that needed to be touched upon. But again, I have a feeling they'll end up being background characters more than anything, as were the Ginyu Force when we initially met them. Were exceptionally powerful in the timeline, but obviously, if we move them, say, one arc forward, Goku is slapping them with the back of his hand, and even Yamcha would be able to wipe his boots with most of them. So, that being said, not really all that keen on what we have going on here overall. They ran into Ku and Do at the supermarket, and they managed to pay for their food. They paid for their food. The people that they were looking to stop, they paid for their food. What kind of special forces are these guys? Where are you hiring? What is the gender Marie process behind this? It doesn't make sense. It's not really panning out. Everywhere around Goma is just people who are completely inept. And Degesu was at least smart enough, like Aransu was, to notice when the shield went down, be like, that's curious. You sense that? Something's going up. And of course, Goma is, of course, knuckle deep in his own nostril, just sitting there with his boots up, doing absolutely nothing to either prepare, prep, or just come up with some kind of ultimatum to prep what's going on so he can ensure his victory. If he really wanted to be the Demon Realm King, like above all, shouldn't he have had like some contingency plan, like something, anything. I mean, just even a fraction of a plan would have been better what you've got going on right now. Because right now, Goku and his crew have safely landed. We have the moment where Vegeta was carrying Bulma, which I'm sure fans will be happy about. And then Hybus and Glorio both have the Dragon Ball. So this time they managed to remember to grab it as they're fleeing the ship as it's going to explode. So now we have everyone making it to the first Demon Realm world and being assaulted by the Gender Marie. But I think Neva has more tricks up his sleeve because, to be honest, he helped Goma get this plan in place. He knew exactly where to find Goku and everybody else. And then from there has been able to assist, enable, or power up everything that they've had to deal with. Because the Tamagami number 2 got a power up because of him, as well the shields were removed because of him, and he's been able to give us all these access to secrets and stuff going on that even Piccolo's going, yo, none of my people I know of can do what you're doing. You're absolutely legendary. And if Piccolo is actually giving someone a compliment, pay attention to that individual. Piccolo is a man of few words, but when he says something, it carries weight. That being said, what would carry weight with me is you hitting that lovely subscribe button, bottom right gold logo, or the red subscription box below. It's entirely free. Greatly helps us out as we're on the road to currently being monetized. Thanks to you, the viewer, and your amazing viewership. I've been Brent for Geek Variants. This will be the last episode you see me before I go off to Japan. I'll see you guys when I get back.